This episode of the Small Business Surgeon Podcast is brought to you by Texas Media Foundry. Engineer your reality at txfoundry.com.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this week's episode of the Small Business Surgeon Podcast. And guys, this week I have a super special guest. She is a resident badass, apparently authentic as fuck, and a world changer. Guys, please welcome to the show, Marianna Keeth. Marianna, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, I was just going over your Facebook bio. Resident badass, authentic as fuck, world changer. With an intro like that, Marianna, I'm going to need to know what it is you do. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started off here.
I'm like this hodgepodge of wonderful smiles and happy, great times. But really, I am here to coach people into finding like the best version of themselves. They're badass. What does that mean to them? It looks different to everyone. It's physically and aesthetically different to everyone. It's mentally and emotionally different to everyone. And I'm here to help people find that person in them through their adversity, the challenges, the things that they've been through. Instead of looking at it as a woe is me, it's a let's fucking kick some ass.
I have so many questions for you. Like,
Uh-huh.
how do you even begin to get into that industry? Because, like, none of us wakes up as a badass. Like, so
No.
there must be a story behind Marianna becoming that person. How do you even like begin to get into that?
It has been an intentional process of building myself. So you really would have to probably backtrack to when I was 17. I got pregnant early. Was doing a lot of drugs, partying, not doing the things that I needed to. But at the same time, I also was a fairly smart individual. I had dropped out of high school at 16, got my GED, and started college. And I was raised with a brother who was just IQ was I don't even know what the number is, but it's like genius level. So
Mm-hmm.
they stuck me in gifted classes alongside of him my whole life, thinking that I kind of would like catch some of his smartness. So I don't understand where the thought was behind that, but I did excel for a very long period of time in school, and then high school hit and I got very bored, and hormones and all the normal teen weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had like some sexual trauma as a child thrown in there, a little bit of variables there. So when I got pregnant at 17, I was actively in college. I was going to get my degree in criminal justice. I wanted to do something along the lines of actually forensics photography or psychology inside of criminology. And that got derailed by about 14 years. Took me to graduate with my degree with minors in psychology, life coaching, and Christian counseling. So it's kind of a long gap in between there. Ended up being in an abusive relationship, leaving that one. Later getting married to a soldier, having a blended family, losing 100 pounds. I have just like this whole hodgepodge of life that's happened over a long period of time. Kind of fast forward me to the last couple of years, going through, an international move from Germany, a divorce from a service member after 13 years. Everything kind of coming derailed and unglued, and me having to come back and literally pick my shit up and put it all back together. Like, my parents were both deceased. I literally have no family other than my brother, which we see each other maybe every 3-4 years.
Wow.
So nobody was going to come in and rescue me. Nobody was here for me to be a crutch. It was like, hey, you and your girls are going to be back in America after 6 years being gone. You got to figure your shit out. And I kind of lost it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It really, like, I was holding everything together during the move, during COVID. My mom died at the same time, trying to get back here and just start a life. And then 2 girls, introducing them to driving in America. It was a really, really, really tough period of time. And I'm not gonna lie, it crushed me for a little bit of time.
I mean,
And it wasn't
I can understand that. Yeah.
I literally had to wake up one day and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You have kids, you have shit to do. Pick your ass up. Nobody is coming to save you. Let's move this shit forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to get very intentional about how to recompose myself, how to start over as not being, Marianna so and so's wife, or Marianna the tax accountant, or Marianna so and so's mom. I had to completely start over. Who am I? What do I want to do? Where's my passion? Do I want to keep my job in Germany? Do I want to continue to straddle two countries?
Mm-hmm.
I had to figure out a lot. And
that sounds like a crazy last 18 months or 2 years you've had, dude.
it definitely has been.
But I can see how other people can learn from this, because there's a lot of people going through the exact same stuff. What was the key moment that said, Marianna, I got to get my shit together? What was that one thing that triggered that in your head that made you just say, fuck it, I'm in?
I was it was summer of last year, actually, that was like the big, I was already making movements forward positively, but summer of last year, after we moved and we got here, after like a month, I was working remotely. I didn't know anyone, or in a small mountain town. Everything's kind of backwards here. Um, so I I was in this funk where, girls didn't have to get up early for school. So I would sleep like till 8 o'clock in the morning. To me, it was very late.
Yeah.
Um,
That's late to
I
normal
wasn't
people.
following, yeah, I was not following any type of routine. I didn't have an office to go to. I was not working out. I wasn't doing anything. I was just fucking off every day. And I was upset and sad. And I wanted to put myself to bed early. And I was like, fuck, nobody else is going to fix this. Let's go.
And that was it, huh?
And yeah, that was it. And I was like, all right, 75 hard starts tomorrow.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about. So they say, a lot of things about 75 hard, and I would imagine a good percentage of my listeners are going to know what it is. But for the ones that don't, just tell us a little bit about 75 hard, and then I want to dig into that journey and what it's done for your mindset.
Well, and so that is exactly what it is. It's a mindset challenge journey, really. I think a lot of people have the misconception that it's weight loss, and it's not. Obviously your body's going to change in that process, but it really is testing what you're capable of doing and the things that you thought you weren't capable of doing, and structuring your day around 2 workouts, one of them having to be outside, and force yourself to drink a gallon of water that doesn't have mix-ins or stuff in it, and following your diet and not drinking and reading. And it's just putting those practices into play. It's implementing structure into your day, which I had none at the time. And it's holding you accountable to, these critical tasks that you have to complete each day. And nobody's there holding you accountable. It has to be you only, and it has to be your integrity. And that comes to grow inside of you to be like, if it wasn't important before, it becomes even more important. And the way that your mind does change. I mean, during that first round of 75 hard I was traveling everywhere. I think I went to 5 different states in that period of time. I was sometimes up at 2:30 in the morning to work out before I got on the plane. And then by the time I was getting to do my next workout wasn't until 11 o'clock in the evening. I was exhausted. I was beat, but I felt so proud of myself every single time I completed each day that was really tough like that, or it was in the rain, or cold. It was a huge challenge for me, and it just built my mental toughness more and more.
And you get that little dopamine hit every time you check one off.
Heck yeah. I'm like, I have to cross that off the list right there.
So out of all of the things on 75 hard, what did you find the most beneficial to you as you were going through the program? What was the one thing that really stuck out? Was it the reading? Was it the exercise?
It's definitely the exercise. That's the physically hard part to me. That was what I wanted. Whenever I think of doing things in my life that are going to challenge me, I always think what's going to be hard. And so the physical part is very hard, obviously, especially I hadn't I hadn't been in a gym and I hadn't done any type of exercise for a year.
Right.
So, going into a gym where other people already know what they're doing and you have to go back to the beginning with your form, with figuring out how to use machines, not looking like a jackal.
Mm-hmm.
It's intimidating. It's hard.
Oh, it's worse for us because we get around college guys and they can all like lift a bunch of weight and stuff. And like, man, I used to be able to lift that much, I'm sure, but not anymore. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's bad here. There's I live in a college town, so
Oh,
you go to Gold's Gym and you're like, man, I don't feel at home here at all. So, how good did it feel the first time you hit that last workout and drank your last drop of water and read your last page of reading on day 75, the first time you did this?
it was really exciting, but it was also very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I happened to be in Vegas when I finished that, and Andy Frisella actually was speaking that day, so it was kind of a geek out moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was sad because I didn't have I didn't have it to keep doing the next day, and
Right, right.
I had already decided I was going to do the Live Hard program and roll into the other phases, but then I had other people who wanted to do it but didn't want to do it alone. So I was like, cool, I'll start a group. And it just kind of started a thing. And now there's a whole bunch of people in it, which is really awesome. I love seeing people get excited about their challenges and what they're doing and their changes. So it's been super rewarding to see everyone in that group interact and hold each other accountable and support each other. It's very cool.
So that said, then, what do you think now that your mission in life has become?
I don't know that it's definitely like changed my mission in life, but I definitely I've always had a passion to help people. I've always said, I'm your hype girl, I'm your cheerleader, I'm the person who's like, you're doing an amazing job. Um and so always I've always loved being in that space, and to be able to figure out how to turn it into a job has been really cool. I think it's definitely ignited a passion in me for fitness and health further.
Mm.
I am going to go ahead and get my personal training certifications and nutrition certifications done. I mean, I I understand the background in fitness and health, and it's naturally very easy for me now. So it seems like a very good fit. But really, I love to encourage and motivate people into doing whatever it is that they feel like is wonderful, beautiful, badass, whatever word they want to ascribe to it. I just want to help people feel their best.
Man, I totally get that. What do you think, in your opinion, is the reason that most people fail at staying in shape and keeping on top of this stuff?
It's not enjoyable.
Oh, that's the truth.
No, I mean, like, fucking real talk. I don't like going to the gym. I
Mm-hmm.
don't love it. You know what I love? I love my fucking confidence. I love how I feel afterwards. I
Mm-hmm.
love that it's the one place I can go and work out my aggression and be pissed off and angry and all of the things. I love that my confidence is on fire afterwards. But I don't fucking love going to the gym. I don't love eating chicken breasts and rice and broccoli, but what I do love is that I've broken an addiction with food.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that I no longer have a dependency emotionally on food. So a lot of people, I think they're like, oh, when they see people in the gym or they see these videos, they're like, well, that's just easy, or you love doing that. No, I fucking hate it. I don't love doing it, but I love how I feel afterwards.
This is great, man. So focus on how you feel afterwards and not on how it feels during.
Yeah. And if people would wrap their brains around that, like, geez, it's not about, yay, cool, you can go to the gym and lift this, that, and the other. It is about what you are doing for your body, how you are making yourself feel. I mean, it's almost a no brainer. Anyone who's ever put themselves in a gym, they feel better when they're confident. They work better when they're confident. Confidence drives all these other areas of your lives, your productivity, your sexiness, your happiness, your fucking sex life, all of these things. Confidence is going to drive that. It's going to get people noticing you, paying attention to you. People think I'm like this shiny thing everywhere. No, I'm just confident as fuck.
Because you spend all the time in the gym, right?
Because I spend the time putting in the work and making myself look, act, feel, perform the way that I want to, what I think is amazing. Like, I've spent a very long time figuring out, what do I want to look like? How do I want to talk? How do I want to interact with people? How do I want to communicate? How do I want to feel around people? I've been very intentional about all of those things to build myself into exactly who I am. People like it. Some people don't. I don't know. Nobody's told me they don't yet. So I'm doing okay so far. So um I attribute that 100% to my confidence.
Well, it obviously exudes from every pore. I mean, we're definitely picking up over the Zoom chat here. You're a very, very confident lady. What would you say that excites you the most moving forward now, as you're starting to onboard your own clients and do this? What is it about the future that excites you the most?
Uh, seeing seeing people change for the purpose of power and influence.
Hmm.
Like, I absolutely believe we have a duty, we have an obligation. We are, going back to the American mandate that Andy Frisella put out, a few months ago in Vegas, that it just, like, it hit and it stays there. We have an obligation as small business owners to affect and change and make waves in the world, because we can, in the way that we
Absolutely.
run our businesses, in the way that we hire people, in the way that we perform, in the way that we treat people, and how we care about people, and how we give. We have responsibilities to be there in a position of power and
I
influence.
couldn't agree more.
And
Yeah.
you can't do that if you are a sack of shit, if you're drinking yourself to death every night, if you're trying to tell people to do great things and you can't even do them yourself. You have to be able to perform in a high state of, in a high state of performance. You have to be able
Oh,
to do that.
absolutely. Yeah, as business
And
owners, we've got to lead from the front. And
yes,
when you realize that no one's actually in charge, and we can do anything we like if we put our minds to it, the entire world opens up.
yes.
As they start coming into your program, Marianna, where do you find that most business owners are falling short? Do you see a repeatable pattern? I'm trying to dig here for stuff that our listeners today can take away with them and just start to implement into their lives. So is there something that stands out to you as something that most business owners are falling short on?
Oh, it's always time
Mm.
and busyness. And we don't have enough time because we're too busy. But we're not.
Oh, I know, I
We're
know.
not busy. We're not busy. And I will say, it's like Josh and I had a conversation about this a few weeks ago. We're not busy. We're unfocused.
Hmm.
We're not. I mean, there's so many great quotes you could throw out right now, but seriously, we're not focusing on the things that are going to get us the things that we want. We're just busy.
Yep.
And that's not productive. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. And I think too many people are getting caught up on that. Too many people are getting caught up on not being able to delegate because they feel like they are individual and unique to their job,
I
which
completely
is
agree.
true. Very true in a lot of situations. There can only be one of you, in a lot of job areas, that's true. But that doesn't mean you can't delegate all of these smaller tasks to other people.
No, not at all. It generally takes at least 3 or 4 hires to replace what an entrepreneur does within their business. I think
Yeah.
a lot of entrepreneurs, they get so focused on the stuff right in front of them, they can't see that they're wasting time with $10 an hour and $15 an hour tasks, when in all reality
Yeah.
those should be automated or delegated or even eliminated and just move on after it. So
Yes. People don't know. I mean, and it's not groundbreaking, earth changing, stuff. It's things that people don't want to pay attention to because they feel selfish doing it.
hmm
Hiring someone almost for yourself or to delegate tasks to feels selfish in our minds.
it
It's not,
does, yeah.
but it does feel that way.
But
And so we're like, no, that's a luxury we really can't afford, but you can, because your value per hour is worth
hmm
way more than the $15 that you can delegate it for.
well, it's interesting you touched on the word luxury,
Mhm.
because we were taught as kids that is a luxury, is hiring people to help you do the menial tasks. But in reality, it's a necessity if you want to grow. If you want to
Absolutely.
grow past $10 an hour tasks, you have to stop doing the $10 an hour tasks and train the people and systematize them and put those processes in place, and then your $10 an hour tasks get done anyway, right?
Absolutely.
So
Get rid of it.
This episode of the Small Business Surgeon Podcast is brought to you by Soapbox, the new home of censorship-free media. Find out more at soapboxnews.com.
I'm gonna wind you back in a minute, Marianna.
Why have
I want to go to some failures. I want to go to what's one of the big failures that you've had in business that sticks out in your mind, and not only the failure, but I want to know what you learned from it and what you carry forward with that for today.
Ooh, wow.
Or in more in layman's terms, where'd you fuck up and what'd you learn? You know?
I does it have to be my current business or previous
No.
business?
Just trying to pass lessons on to the people
Okay.
coming up. You know?
Definitely would have been a delegation when it came to kind of what we were saying and growth.
Mm-hmm.
I was so stuck in thinking that I was the only person who could get these series of things done when I was running my catering business, that I wouldn't outsource anything. I wouldn't hire anyone else to come in and do anything with my prepping, with my organization, with the payments, any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept me stuck in a place of just absolute burnout.
Because all that stuff can be systematized, correct?
All of it
And
could have been.
what happened when you did that?
I didn't.
Oh, so
I
what was the
absolutely
outcome?
didn't. The outcome was that I burnt out so badly, I walked away from that business.
Mm.
I absolutely walked away from it. It was a business that was growing day by day. I mean, I literally started this business in my kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and was projected to hit six figures, after 2 years, doing really well. And I walked away from it. I was like, nope, I'm done.
Too much.
Yep, because I was not willing to bring people on because I didn't feel like I could, and I didn't feel like anyone else could do it as well as I did. I got
Oh
my own
man,
way.
how
hmm
many? Because we've all done that. We've all done
hmm
it. Every single one of us. And you know, I wonder how many entrepreneurs are listening to this show that are A, going to be kicking themselves because they're currently doing it, or B, um, going to have an aha moment and wake up about it, because actually systematizing and hiring help was the critical component that gave me the freedom to move up in my business and replace myself. So
hmm
yeah. it's it's strange how we learn, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely was in my own way in that space. I went on to do different things, which was fine, but I could have scaled that. I could have done really well there.
I mean, yeah, but looking back, I mean, that's where experience comes from, isn't it?
hmm
It's making those mistakes and using them as that foundation to learn and to grow. So, were you always stubborn? How long did it take you to hire a mentor and plug into some people that could educate you?
Um, yes, I've always been very stubborn. I have always felt like, for whatever reason, I had to do all of my work, all of
Mm-hmm.
it. I couldn't, give it to somebody else to do. I needed to do it. And if I couldn't, I shouldn't, be doing it. So, um, it took me, it took me a very long time to come around to the fact that I needed help and that I needed coaches in my life as well. And it has only been in the last 2.5 years that I've fully embraced that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a huge game changer. I mean, you need people to be accountable to in some way, shape, or form. You need guidance. You need mentorship. You need, one of the things that I kind of liken to coaches to, it's like a la carte education.
Right,
I
right.
get to go and I get to hit up this person who has an expertise of knowledge. I get to pay for the things that I want from this person, pick and choose, and I get to move forward. I don't have to go through school for 2 to 4 years. I don't have to do all of these different things. I can go and I can literally download this information that this
Hmm.
person has spent a lifetime getting themselves and becoming an expert in. And then I can learn from them and I can grow from them and be mentored by them. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just compressing time, isn't it? It's to
Yeah.
where we can go and get the very best of them. That's why I like books, man. If you think about a book and what an accomplishment, what a milestone writing a book is, you've got to accept the fact that, man, if this is in this book, it must be just about the most knowledge they can give on the subject, you
Hmm.
know? And people don't realize, for a $10 book, you can get years and years of knowledge from other people.
Absolutely.
You're on. I wasn't ready to go here yet, but we will. You're on 75 hard. What books are you reading recently? You got any good book recommendations for us?
I just finished the second. I've actually been running through a whole bunch of the Apex authors recently.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so I just finished. I read the I Am a Comeback book. I just finished that one last night, and then this morning I started Jessica Dennehy's book, Pivot and Slay,
Oh
which
yes, yes, yes.
ah, she is awesome. I really do love. I mean, honestly, her book is genius for anyone. It's definitely taken you into a different mindset of how to look at things that you're doing. It's awesome.
That is one of the books on my coffee table. I've got so many on my coffee table that I haven't
I
broken
know.
into yet. I've actually been reading old books here for a minute or two now. The old ones, again, revisiting them. Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Hmm.
The ones that have been around a little bit, and
Hmm.
it's fascinating how they still apply now, and some of them are like 100 years old, and the principles still apply there. So I love to read, and I love that we've got so many friends that are authors.
Yes,
You working on a book yet?
I am.
No way.
I am. Chapter 2, it's a slow process. I got everything going on right now, but I'm plugging away at it.
Yeah, yeah. I've got one I'm working on too. I'll keep it a little bit quiet. But
Oh,
no.
mysterious.
So, did you ever think you'd grow up and be an entrepreneur and a life coach
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
then?
not.
What did you want to be?
You know what? I watched Silence of the Lambs when I was younger. I wanted to be Jodie Foster. I wanted to be in the FBI.
I think a lot of young women that were around when Silence of the Lambs came out wanted to be her. Yeah.
Mhm. She was such a badass. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. A life coach, for want of a better word, you literally help business owners through all aspects of their setup. Tell us a little bit, if you will, about that process and what working with you would be like.
Well, obviously everybody is different. So, I really like to get on the phone with you, talk to you about what it is that you want to change in your life. What are you looking to focus on? There's some individuals who just want accountability. Like they just want me to help them stay accountable. There's
Hmm.
some individuals who want to run through, I want to change my mindset. I want to do better in this area. I want to focus on this. I want my health and fitness to be better. So I have access to the training. I have training apps. I have nutrition to go through with individuals who are wanting to focus on the health and fitness part, and who maybe necessarily don't feel like they need life coaching at the time.
Right.
So it really is going to be tailored to what it is that you're looking for. What do you want to change in your life? I love to run through a list with individuals of finding out what it is that you find to be badass, or that you're looking to build yourself into.
Hmm.
Because ideally, I want to help you build yourself very similarly to how I was able to build myself into what I want. Taking each of those components and putting them together to make you what you want to be.
I get it. So a lot of mindset work and a lot of work on the mind, body, and soul, as though it were, right?
Absolutely.
Do you find like most people come to you with similar issues?
Um, Not necessarily, no. I have this, I don't even know how you would explain my personality. I think it's a good blend of like masculine and feminine. So I get a lot of individuals who maybe are a little bit lacking in terms of like their voice, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah.
Like maybe a little bit more quiet, more introverted, but they really are drawn to my personality because it's way more of what they would like to be.
Hmm.
So it's really been a different type of people. I've been kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which is, it's been very flattering because it's been individuals that I didn't really even know would kind of be an audience of mine that
mhm.
it's been really cool to see the different individuals who have popped up. I've loved it.
Well, that's really neat. I for one have enjoyed watching you break into our group, and enjoyed watching the progress and seeing the growth that you've dropped on us a little bit. You've done very well, and you've lost quite a bit of weight over the last few months as well. I don't know weight or fat, but you've definitely re-sculpted yourself. So you're going out and leading from the front, and being the example that people want to see, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. I mean, if you want to make change, you got to be the change, right?
I mean, I think so. I just like, I like ice cream and I like cake. I work out one time a day, and I'm sticking to that very well. I don't know how I would. I don't know if I would jump all off and go to 2 workouts a day. How do you manage to like balance work and life when you're working a program like 75 Hard?
Okay, so the beauty of it is that, obviously, entrepreneur get to pick my own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I have tailored my schedule in such a way that 75 hard is very easy now in my life. I wake up at 4:30, I get my stuff done in the morning that I need to do, take my pre-workout, go to the gym, come back, do some emails, clean up around the house, do a couple of other things. And I usually am doing my second workout by like 11, 12 o'clock.
Oh wow.
And I'm done with everything by noon.
Mm-hmm.
So then the rest of my actual work day starts then. I get to choose my hours the rest of the day. If I have some clients on the West Coast who it's a little bit of a pain, but they're 3 hours behind me. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'll tailor some of my days to stay up a little bit longer to chat with those individuals. But because I do have the luxury and the freedom to do that with my schedule, it's made this round very, very, very nice. The first round, I was not as fortunate. Uh, you know, I had multiple jobs, multiple flights to different areas, doing different things, and was all over the place. And so it was definitely much more intense and challenging. Um, but I think, you come to a point where you make it a priority in your life
Yeah.
and you no longer say I'm too busy. It's, I already know my calendar in the morning. My priority is that I'm doing these things in the morning and my workout.
Mm-hmm.
My first thing isn't going to be your phone call or your appointment or your whatever. It's going to be me
Right.
because I'm going to perform better for you if I've done the things I need to do. So it's not even an option anymore for me in my day to think about it not being a part of my morning. Whereas I think there are entirely too many people who wake up and say, well, I have all of these things to do. Where can I fit in the workout?
Yeah. 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 For me, it's just hard going out in the cold at 4 o'clock in the morning. But I
Well,
do.
hell yeah.
I do. So, what's that trigger that gives you the motivation to keep getting up and keep going? There's something that grows in the back of your head that just keeps you being a badass that we can tap into?
I was thinking about that this morning when I was in the gym.
Like, why am I here?
Yes. And I was sitting there and the only thing I could kept sitting there, like just kept repeating to myself was don't fucking quit. You can't quit. Like it's just become a part of my mantra and the things that I say to myself when I'm there, because there's so many times when I'm sitting there and I want to give up. I want to go home. I don't want to be there. I don't want to do another freaking push-up. I don't want to do jumping. Like, I don't want to do these things. I want to go home. But every single time, because I've just put it in my head over consistency,
Yeah.
it's just don't fucking quit. Just don't.
Do you have a trainer, or do you just go up there by yourself?
I don't have an in-person trainer. Clint is my trainer.
Okay.
I don't have an in-person one. I did. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a snafu there, and that fell through. So it has just been it has just been me, which is really hard because to be quite honest, I'm one of those people who I need accountability myself. That's
Right.
why I went and hired a trainer at first. When I first started 75 Hard in-person trainer, he ended up screwing the pooch, and I had to completely rely on myself. It was a little bit disheartening, kind of pissed me off.
I don't know
And so that's
how hard
I've
is
had
it to be a trainer, man? How hard is it to mess this
uh,
up? Don't you just got to count to 10 a
mm,
bunch?
no.
Mark Zalmanoff's gonna kill me. Like, just count to 10 a bunch. Do some burpees. I don't know how you'd mess that up. But
He
yeah.
was a good trainer. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of a scandal there in terms of the integrity, and so that caused a huge kink for me. I went there with the intent of training. That's what I wanted. I didn't want something else, so I had to break off from that, go to a
Mm-hmm.
different gym, and then I hired Clint. And it's been very difficult. I do want someone at the gym when I show up to perform. It does keep me moving faster, longer, more consistently. But I've had to recognize that about myself. It's just not an option. So it's something that I have to do on my own. I
My
could let it be an excuse, or I could do it myself.
my workouts with a trainer are always 110% more than my workouts by myself. You don't realize just how much that additional person there pushing you makes you go a little harder. So the fact that you do it without one is very, very it's very humbling to me, because I'm not the most motivated guy in the gym. Maybe I should change that around. So this show is aimed at guys that are coming up, that are behind us a little bit, and obviously we're similar ages. What's one thing you wish that young Marianna knew about your current lifestyle and your current life? Is there anything you'd go back in time and let her know?
Yeah, stop getting hung up on what other people think.
Mm.
Nobody else's thoughts have ever been motivating driving force in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I let them impact me for so long, I wish that I had been able to kind of push that to the side a long time ago, and not care about what other people thought for so long, because it took me a very long time to get to a point of just being very unapologetic about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not always the case. And I love who I am. So I really enjoy living as me and living my life just like totally on fire, no filter. Let's go. So that's what I would encourage myself to just give less fucks about people's opinion when I was younger.
Once you learn to understand that, and I'm saying it like some wise old guy. I mean, I didn't really learn it until about 2 years ago, that
Yep.
People's opinions of you doesn't matter unless they bring you joy or happiness or money.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
if they're clients, yeah, you kind of want to take care of that, but for the most part, unless I want them in my life, I really don't care anymore about their opinions. Whereas we tend to spend our 20s and a lot of times into our 30s trying to spend money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we don't know. And I think that becomes a rut that a lot of us get stuck in, myself included in the past. I mean, I don't anymore. But
Oh, me too.
when I gave a fuck what people thought about me, then yeah, it's like it's a little bit different. So, anyway, I don't know. We have to figure out the next question and keep this podcast interview moving. Where do you see your business going over the next 12 months, Marianna? What have you got in store for us?
I do believe that my coaching is going to do really well. And then I want to, I'm going to be launching my apparel later.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am going to be moving this
Oh,
summer.
so
So
whereabouts in Texas are you moving to?
so Texas is actually on my list. There's one of two places. It's either Utah or Texas. I'm more prone to moving to Utah right now. That is on
Mm-hmm.
my bucket list of places to be. And I will be there next week house hunting.
Oh, wow.
So
So serious then.
I am absolutely serious about it. If I don't get up and make moves, I'm not going to do anything, and I will just sit in the same spot. So
That's very
gotta
true.
keep it
Yeah.
moving. Go and see some places what I want to consider strongly out there, and then I either towards the end of the year or rolling into the next year, depending on which location I end up into. I am definitely going to be starting my own online boutique. Very excited about that, and just doing a couple of other things. So I see that coaching is definitely going to grow. It's going to grow into something that I'm not even sure that I can really wrap my brain around, but I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So we got to hire some staff for the coaching company then, and
Oh,
figure out what to
absolutely.
delegate and figure out how to build it, right?
Yes.
So, assuming you got all that done, is there a dream occupation you want to try? Is there anything that's hanging on there, like, fighter pilot, or are you where you want to be now?
I mean, I am one of those people who is always like super curious about jobs. I really, I don't know why. I've always just wanted to do every job. Um, I don't think there's much else I would want to do monetarily wise, like
Mm-hmm.
to earn other than this. I do have a passion to want to be at a point in my life to where the money that's coming in can flow into what I really, really, really want to spend my time doing. And that's just giving freely, 100% giving freely. And my heart has always been in victims of sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to have a rehabilitation home for victims to come to reintegrate, to learn job skills, to learn how to live again, to get healing, and to get back into the world after they've been through so much. So that is a very long-term goal. At some point, I will be able to take all of the money that I
Mm-hmm.
uh, need to earn and focus it into the things that I want to do like that. So I'm never more on fire than when I'm giving my time and my money just freely without constraints. And that's really where I want to be, is 100% full-time giving.
The funny thing, Mariana, is more many more people are going to listen to this than watch it, so they won't actually get to see. But when you switch subjects and stop talking about business and started talking about philanthropy, your whole face and body just lit up and changed immediately. So I can tell that's where your passion is. You just exuded it straight across the screen to me. So I'm
Yes.
for those guys listening and not watching, this woman is telling the truth. I can tell that's what she wants to do. Her whole demeanor changed. So thank you for opening up like that. Just a couple more questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap this up. For those of us that are watching that look up to you and see you, would you consider yourself successful, or do you still feel
Absolutely.
like the imposter sometimes?
Every single day that creeps in my head. Every single day I'm like, I have no business doing this. I have no business in these spaces with these people. I have no business telling anyone what to do, because sometimes my life's a shit show too. But at the same time, I am successful. I am a success story in my mind. I came from being a single 17-year-old mom working 3-4 jobs to owning the time that I want. I work when I want to work. I get to be home with my girls more often than I'm not. I get to live in a sleepy, quiet, small mountain town right next to a mountain with a creek in my backyard. I get to have a vacation rental property 40 minutes from here that makes money. I get to go and hang out with people whenever I want. I get to drive down and hang out with my friends whenever I want. I get to fly whenever I want. my life is amazing. I consider that 100% success because it's exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm. And yet, I mean, we consider you a success too, obviously, but yet you still have that imposter syndrome up there in your head. What advice do you have for somebody listening that's maybe struggling the same way you are, that's got some success under their boots, but still doesn't feel like they're in the right room?
Ask, why does it matter? Because that's literally what I have to do. I was listening to someone talk the other day. Maybe it was Jessica Dennehy. I'm not even sure. Kind of people run together, but asking yourself these questions of why does it matter? We're talking to ourselves all the time. Why does it matter? Why does it matter what anyone else thinks? Worst case, what's going to happen? If they don't like you, if they don't like your message, if they don't like what you say, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Exactly.
If I throw up a post about this, that, or the other, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Best case scenario, someone's going to pop in my inbox and be like, hey, you are really awesome. I love your message. I love what you're saying, which is what typically happens. Worst case, someone's going to tell me I'm an asshole and shut up, right? That is literally the worst thing that can happen to me. So what is stopping me? What's stopping me from sharing? Because every time I share, it's impacting someone.
Yes, ma'am.
If I shut up, nobody's going to be impacted, and that's cool. Nobody heard anything. But I have yet to get a negative message from anyone. I have yet to have anyone tell me anything bad, rude, negative to date. So the worst thing that could happen to me so far hasn't even happened. I'm just making it all up in my head. So what the fuck? Move on.
I love it. For guys, for those of you listening, successful people get imposter syndrome too, and that's how they crush it. So great job, Marianna. All right, last question. As always, for those of the guys that have enjoyed the show and want to learn a little bit more about you and where to get a hold of you, where can they follow you online?
I am on the Instagrams. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on the Facebooks. My landing page is being completed now, but it's kind of like half cocked. So just get up in my DMs.
Right.
On Instagram and Twitter, I'm under there as beautiful_x_badass. It's a mouthful. And then on Facebook, Marianna Keeth. If you want to come follow me on Twitter, which is, I'm very new to it, you can. It's all 75 hard stuff. It's all a bunch of like thrown together hodgepodges of things, but it's having fun, getting out there. It's just sharing a message. It's encouraging other people to share their message. That's what I want to do. Shine my light.
Well, I love it. And you're certainly shining on us today. We sincerely appreciate that. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap up now. But if you have a few minutes, run on over to Instagram and give Marianna a follow. We'll put her tag in the show notes, but it is beautiful_x_badass. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, run on over there, give her a follow. And as always, guys, if you've enjoyed the show, if it made you laugh, if it made you cry, if it made you think, do me a favor, share it out. Run over to iTunes, leave us a review, talk to a friend about it, and above all, just let everybody know, because that's how we get the word out, and that's how we go around improving people's lives. All right, that's going to be it from me. Marianna, thank you so much for coming on the show, my dear. I sincerely appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, guys, you'll be good. Stay safe, and tune in this Friday for another episode of Friday Fire. I love you guys. Have a great week.
This episode of the Small Business Surgeon Podcast is brought to you by reengageme.com. Customer acquisition retargeting made easy. Generate more revenue for your business without taking time away from doing things you actually love.